You're listening to the Para is My Normal podcast. We are a bit science, a bit woo, and all curious about that which defies explanation because sometimes normal just isn't.
Welcome back to Para's My Normal, and if this is your first time here, welcome, friend. I'm your host tonight, Jennifer Lynn. Mike will be back on the mic in future episodes, but tonight I'm flying solo again. So let me take you back to the night that shifted everything for us. Mike and I were curled up on the couch watching Portals to Hell, and it just happened to be the episode where they went to Eloise Asylum.
Whatever did that, can you make that light up again? Touch the red light. All right, we're gonna play a game. You're gonna make that light up for yes, and you're gonna do nothing for no. Are you a male? Are you female? Can you come back and touch that red light? What? And now that thing's going nuts.
Are you guys only two up here? Did anybody walkie at that time?
No. That came out of the elevator?
This?
Yeah, no, there.
The doctor's elevator.
There's three big steel bars. There's the cable spool. Something with an electromagnetic field is moving around in here.
Yeah.
Now, we're watching it, and Mike is on his iPad scrolling through, and he's looking, and he says, "Hey, do you know where Eloise Asylum is?" Like, no. It's like, it's in Westland. Are you kidding me? That is so close to us. And in fact, we had driven past it multiple times, didn't even think a thing about it. So we did what any pug-loving, paranormal, curious couple would do. We went to the website and we saw that they offered public ghost hunts. So Mike and I went ahead and we booked a public, and as they say, the rest is history. Because in that first investigation of Eloise Asylum, changed everything for us. And Para is My Normal was born. And it was there that I realized it isn't just about what we see or hear. It's about what we feel, that paranormal entertainment. The very thing that inspired us to book that investigation isn't just entertainment. It's an initiative. It's a call to explore, to question, to connect. We were able to go into the spaces that we saw on TV. We were able to meet the people that we had saw on those videos and on TV episodes and in other YouTube channels. That at one point you were just a viewer, but now we're participating. And it even went beyond participation for us. We're starting to really find ourselves in the paranormal. So in this episode, we're diving into the evolution of paranormal entertainment from war era radio dramas to TikTok seances and predictive ghost hunting AI, where it started, where it's gone, and where it's going next. So let's get into it. So long before ghost hunting became a weekend recreation or stream-worthy spectacle, paranormal stories lived in that liminal space. They were passed from lips around firesides, folded into folklore, and wrapped into silence and curiosity. But by the 1930s and 40s, something radical happened. Ghosts found the airwaves. Radio programs like Lights Out in 1934 and Inner Sanctum Mysteries weren't documentaries. They were dramatized horror. But they opened a channel. So you'd be sitting by the fire listening to creaky doors, phantom voices, and whispered threats that never quite got explained. One pioneer, The Witch's Tale, that ran from 1931 to 1938. It was the first radio drama dedicated to horror and the supernatural. And it was hosted by Old Nancy, the Witch of Salem.
all set to tell folks our customary sweet bedtime story. Now, tell these folks to douse their lights and we'll get right down to business. That's it. Make it nice and dark. And draw up to the fire. And gaze into the embers. Gaze into 'em deep. And soon you'll see inside a big old handsome house in little old Merry England.
It combined spooky storytelling with moral justice and a wink of camp. It was eerie, yes, but also empowering, especially for women in a world that often silenced them. And as the decades rolled on, paranormal-themed programming picked up steam. So by the 1950s and 60s, television joined the party. One step beyond, in 1959, blurred the line between dramatization and documentation, offering weekly tales based on real paranormal events. And of course, the Twilight Zone. We can't talk about paranormal entertainment without talking about the Twilight Zone. It ran from 1959 to 1964, and it turned speculative fiction into art, posing not just what-if questions around science, but also humanity, mortality, and the boundaries between realities. So In Search of was hosted by the amazing Leonard Nimoy himself from 1977 to 1982, and it leaned even deeper into documentary with episodes on haunted castles, Bigfoot, psychic dreams. So if woo meets science, which is sort of our niche, right? And nobody rolled their eyes. So this wasn't just fun TV, it was social conversation. Because as Americans processed post-war trauma, cultural upheaval, and existential anxiety, the idea of something beyond this world, it was cathartic. It didn't matter whether ghosts were real, they were something we felt, something we all needed. Paranormal storytelling became a mirror, and we started looking back into it. Now, flash forward to the early 2000s. Suddenly, haunted houses weren't just stories, they were stages. Ghost Hunters premiered in 2004, and something changed radically. This wasn't fiction. This was two plumbers walking through abandoned buildings with scientific equipment, asking measured questions into thin air. No jump scares, just method.
Jason and Grant. Their profession, plumbers.
You know, that smells divine.
Their passion, paranormal investigations.
I never believed in anything that I couldn't see, but when I witnessed something firsthand, it changed the way I looked towards things.
Watch as they flush out and plunge into the world of the supernatural.
What the hell was that, dude? You hear that?
Confronting the unthinkable, debunking the irrefutable.
It could be anything. It could be a house settling, overactive imagination, pipes banging in the wall. We definitely know they have plumbing problems, but they have ghosts now.
If that is, they can survive each other.
Audiences connected because they could imagine themselves doing it. Then came Ghost Adventures, Paranormal State, The Dead Files, so many more shows. Each show brought with it, though, a new flavor, skepticism, spirituality, spectacle, and a new kind of personality, the relatable investigator. Viewers weren't just entertained, they were invited. And where there's belief, there's backlash. YouTubers gave rise to paranormal debunking, a new genre of content where creators like The Side-Eye Guy or Beardo Gets Scared analyzed ghost hunting footage frame by frame. They pointed out overacted reactions, questionable shadows, audio loops, and they weren't wrong.
So creepy, bro. Yeah, it really is just a vibe. I don't even know if I want to be here tonight. I wouldn't be here by myself.
No, I don't think I could do this one by myself.
James wouldn't be there by himself because he wants Omar's views.
You know, with all the Ouija boards in here and serial killer living here and bodies being found on the property and they're still here, like, bro, that is insane to think about.
Allegedly, Larry Dwayne Hall used to rent a room in the house when he would participate in Revolutionary War reenactments in a nearby location. There is no actual proof of this, but we do have stories of this account. But he was never a property owner of the Monroe house, and he never leased the Monroe house. If he did stay here, it would have been for very short periods of time. So if this is true, the likelihood that he would have had any involvement in burying bodies around this house is very, very slim.
These are artifacts.
Paranormal content was starting to get theatrical. And when the tone tipped from critique to ridicule, the community fractured. The tension wasn't a problem, it was the point. Because belief and skepticism aren't opposites, They're companions. Paranormal storytelling thrives in that dance, that space between doubt and wonder. Now let's talk about the digital leap. Before anyone was yelling, "Did you hear that?" on live streams, creators were crawling through ruins. Urban exploration, or Urbex, exploded on YouTube in the 2010s. Abandoned hospitals, forgotten amusement parks, derelict prisons. It was silent, spooky, and oddly respectful. You weren't there to disturb anything, just to document. But then the comments started rolling in. "Wait, is this place haunted?" And the pivot began. Creators like Exploring with Josh started adding paranormal tools to their kits. EMF detectors, REM pods, night vision cameras. The lines really blurred. Were they explorers, investigators, influencers? The answer was yes.
What's up, guys? It's Sam and Colby.
Welcome back. We are Twin Paranormal.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Project Fear.
Meanwhile, long-form shows were moving online. After Destination Fear was canceled by the Travel Channel, the cast launched Project Fear on YouTube, funded entirely by fans. No suits, no scripts, just haunted buildings and handheld cameras. And on TikTok, a different kind of haunting emerged. Creators like Nicola Crowley and The Other Side began streaming live investigations, spirit boxes buzzing, flashlights blinking, real-time chat from thousands of viewers offering questions for the ghosts. The Veil had gone viral. And let's talk about impact. Locations featured on these shows often see a 200 to 300% increase in public ghost hunting bookings. Ghost tours sell out. Local economies boom. Paratourism is real, and it's thriving. Haunted isn't just atmospheric, it's marketable. So let's look ahead, because if we've learned anything, it's the paranormal that adapts. Today's ghost hunting kits might include AI. Smart software now parses hours of EVP recordings, flags unusual voice frequencies, and even runs voice matching against historical databases. Apps use natural language processing to make sense of garbled spirit box chatter and cross-reference it with known deaths or local history. Want to see a ghost? Augmented reality overlays let visitors see digital representations of spectral figures. Some AR tours use eyewitness accounts, crime logs, or even lore to build interactive visuals as you walk through historic haunts. Want help predicting hauntings? Well, there are now algorithms that combine lunar phases, weather, and location history to forecast likelihood of activity. And it sounds absurd until it works, or does it? When does storytelling become distortion? The future of paranormal entertainment is smart, synthetic, and seductive, but it must also remain sacred. So why do we watch? We don't just watch ghost shows to be scared. We want to be seen. Paranormal stories offer metaphors for grief, trauma, anxiety, and longing. When someone says, "Hey, I heard a voice in the dark," it's really more about memory, missing someone, hoping there's more. Psychologists describe haunted people syndrome when emotionally sensitive or intuitive individuals report frequent anomalous experiences. Perception. We all interpret energy differently, some through skepticism, some through faith, but all through emotion. Horror and paranormal media offer catharsis, a release. We scream, then we laugh. We clench, then we breathe. When ghost stories are shared, they become ritual. When communities form around them, they become healing. We aren't alone, we're just listening together. And maybe that's why we keep watching. We keep scrolling. We keep searching. We chase ghosts not just to prove something. Trust me, we're not going to be proving anything paranormal. We're not the people who are going to do it. But we really chase it to remember something. That's where we're all connected. That mystery still matters. That even in a world of deep fakes, doom scrolling, and deadlines, some things still make us pause, to make us wonder. Hopefully they make us hope. Paranormal entertainment doesn't give us answers, but it does give us possibility. It opens a door. It allows us to see into places that we've never been to. It allows us to experience, to partake. It allows people to enter at their own level of comfort. And what if that knock really was something? What if that dream really meant more? What if memory isn't the last place we see the ones we've lost? And maybe that's the point. Ghost stories endure because they hold space for unresolved things, unfinished conversations, unprocessed grief, unexplained events. And in the dark, we whisper. In the static, we strain to hear. And in that flicker, we find some meaning. So as we close today's episode of Paris by Normal, I want to say this. You're not weird for loving this stuff. You're also not gullible for feeling something you can't prove. You're not too much for believing there's more than what we can see. You're human. You're sensing. You are whole. And in this field, in this community, we don't just chase ghosts. We chase connection. We chase courage. We chase healing. This work isn't just about haunted locations. It's about haunted lives, haunted hearts. It's about the stories waiting to be heard and energy waiting to be witnessed. So whether you're holding a spirit box or an old VHS tape, this is your reminder that you belong here. Don't forget to check out our new website at www.paraismynormal.com. There you can find all of our podcast episodes, all the upcoming investigations we're doing, including site reviews of all the investigations we've done over the years. We also have an area that we've dedicated to highlighting our paranormal friends and family. So those are channels that we enjoy watching or people that support us and we support as well. So we did mention the Debunkers and the Side-Eye Guy. So I'm very excited to say that Side-Eye Guy, or Seg as we call him, is actually going to be a guest of the podcast. So he's going to be coming up in a future episode, so look out for that. And again, if you want to not miss out on any of our episodes, follow us, like this, share. The best way that you can support us in the podcast is just by sharing, listening, liking, rating, making a comment, whatever it is. Just engage with the content and it's going to help us out more than you ever know. So until next time, stay weird, stay unapologetically haunted, and remember, don't fear the truth, follow it.